Herkese selamlar. İşin İngilizcesi Podcast and Lectures'ın yeni bölümüne hepiniz hoş geldiniz. Bu bölüm biraz özel bir bölüm olacak çünkü bir de konuğumuz var. Kısaca aslında önce size onu tanıtmak istiyorum. Bryce Batts. Bryce yaklaşık 15 yıldır ABD'de bir işe alım uzmanı ve kariyer koçu olarak çalışmakta. Ve kendisi özellikle AEC alanında uzmanlaşmış ve hizmetlerini bu alanda sağlıyor. Peki AEC nedir? AEC aslında Architectural Engineering and Construction. Yani aslında çoğunlukla mühendislere ve inşaat alanında çalışan kişilere bu hizmetleri sunmakta. Sunduğu hizmetler arasında aslında benim en çok dikkatimi çeken kısım özellikle İngilizce mülakatlar, iş bulma, iyi bir CV hazırlama ve global çalışma gibi konuların olmasıydı. Kendisiyle de bu konularda çok güzel bir sohbet gerçekleştirdik. Bu yeni planladığım konseptte neler olacak? Size biraz ondan bahsetmek istiyorum. İlk olarak ben çoğunlukla girişte Türkçe olarak kişileri size tanıtacağım. Bilmemiz gereken özellikle kritik terimler varsa onları biraz açıklıyor olacağım. Daha sonrasında ise bölümün uzunluğuna göre %100 İngilizce bir kısım olacak. Bu kısımda aslında win-win bir durumu hedefledim diyebilirim. Hem bir konu öğreneceğiz hem sizin için güzel bir İngilizce dinleme pratiği olmuş olacak. Çünkü çoğunlukla konuşan kişiler İngilizceye çok ileri düzeyde hakim veya ana dili İngilizce olan kişiler olacak. Bu da hem iş dünyasını öğrenip hem iş dünyasını öğrenmemizi sağlayacak. Aynı zamanda İngilizcemize de güzel bir pratik yaptırmış olacağız diyelim hadi. Yine bu konsepti yapma sebeplerimden birisi de aslında şu. Ben çoğu zaman Amerika'da olan bir şeyi yani Türkiye'de bir 5, 10, 15 yıl sonra görüyorum. Bu ne demek? Orada bir iş trendi varsa, orada bir kullanılan teknoloji varsa bu Türkiye'ye de geliyor ve aslında hızlıca adapte olabiliyoruz diyebilirim. Ve burada o süreyi biraz kısaltacağız aslında. Yani örneğin Amerika'da nasıl işe alım trendleri var? Neler öne çıkıyor? Zaten rekabetçi bir ülke. Kişiler farklılaşmak için neler yapıyor? Türkiye'de buraya gidiyor aslında. Gitgide iş bulmak zorlaşıyor. Yani iş bulmak değil aslında bu da. İstediğiniz işi, değerlerinizle örtüşen, sizi mutlu edecek işleri bulmak bazen zorlaşabiliyor. Ve gördüğümüz şey de şu oldu aslında. Gerçekten Türkiye'de de böyle trendler görülmeye başlandı. Bir diğer tarafı da ben her zaman söylüyorum. Türkiye'de herkesin global potansiyeli var. Ve bunu söylerken de şaka yapmıyorum veya bir e, motivasyon konuşması olsun diye kurmuyorum aslında bu cümleleri. Gerçekten var. Belki aradaki köprü iletişim becerilerimiz. Belki kendimizi daha iyi anlatabilirsek. Belki global trendleri daha iyi yakalarsak oralarda çok daha güzel başarılar elde edeceğiz. Çok da konuşmadan, çok da detay vermeden aslında şimdi sizi bölümle baş başa bırakmak istiyorum. Burada dinlerken olabildiğince konuya odaklanırsanız ve hani kaçırdığınız kelimeler olursa da bence endişelenmeyin. Sadece konuya odaklanın, anlamaya çalışın. Bölüm bittikten sonra bazı kısımlarda ben yine Türkçe olarak destekliyor olacağım. Umarım beğenirsiniz. Beğenmeyi ve abone olmayı unutmayın. İyi seyirler. So, before we start to really get into these topics, I'd like to get to know you, and maybe my audience would like to know you a little bit better. So, could you please introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Bryce Batts. I'm located in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I'm the co-founder of an AEC staffing firm. That's Architecture, Engineering, and Construction. The name of the company is Career Collective. We've been in business for 3 years now, but I have 15 years of staffing experience. Really love recruiting. I love what I do, helping, employers find the right candidates and candidates find the right jobs. We spend so much time at work, so to me it means a lot when you can find, make that perfect match. I have two daughters, 10 and 14, and a cute dog and a wonderful husband.
Good family, definitely. And you mentioned that you are in recruiting, but how did you find your passion in recruiting? What made you, want this, basically?
Yeah, I feel like many recruiters, I stumbled into it. After college, I moved to Florida with my now husband, and he had gotten a great job. And I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I had tried a couple different things and I went to school to get my MBA. Because when you don't know what to do, why not spend a lot of money on another degree? So not necessarily something I would recommend, but it was great experience. And while I was getting my MBA, I made a friend, her name's Lynn, and she said, you should really come do this with me. And as soon as I started, she left, but she sold me on it because she said, you could do sales. Your husband or boyfriend at the time, he's in the same industry. He's a landscape architect. So she's like, that's kind of cool. You could potentially share contacts. And I said, all right, I'll give it a try. And honestly, just fell in love with it.
Yeah, so it started and then you continued for many years. I see that.
Yep. Yeah.
And
And
also,
still do it now.
and still do it. And at the same time, you are a co-founder at the moment. So,
Yes.
how is it different being a recruiter and then owning your own business?
Yeah, in entrepreneurship, there's so many ups and downs. So I still get to have my hands in recruiting, but also get to teach my team what I've learned throughout the years. So that's really fun, and it's exciting to see them, get their feet under them and really start being successful. And to be able to share what you've learned over 15 years, is really cool.
Exactly. And it gives you a chance to, pass your knowledge to your teammates and maybe grow together with all of
Exactly.
it.
Well said.
Definitely. And, I want to get into a little bit on the recruiting side because I know that, people in Turkey are really excited about these topics and maybe some of them are planning career changes,
Mm.
which can be quite difficult from time to time. And in my opinion, I am planning to firstly focus on maybe a little bit on the resume part. And I know
Okay.
that you specialize in AEC, but um, in general, what are the common mistakes that you see on resumes?
Yeah, so one common mistake candidates make is not tailoring their resume or their application to the specific job.
Mhm,
So, really, to avoid this, the candidate should carefully read the job description and highlight relevant experience and skills in their resume and cover letter. They've got to highlight their experience and so an employer can look at it and immediately know if they're going to be a fit or not. I think the statistic is HR and recruiters read through a
mhm.
resume for about 5 to 7 seconds. So they're
That's very
not looking
short.
at it for very long. Right.
Yeah.
And candidates should really emphasize their soft skills too. You
Mhm,
see this in engineering, but probably in tech and other
mhm.
roles as well. They need to emphasize their communication and teamwork and problem solving abilities. A lot of candidates also fail to follow up after an interview. It's
Mhm.
such a simple thing, but just sending a simple thank you note or email can really enforce your interest in the position and leave a positive impression.
So you say that, this is a process, as I understand. It is not like submitting your CV and then just letting go, basically.
Right, because
It's
if
not.
you do that, you
Mhm.
find you end up submitting so many CVs and hearing very little feedback, which starts to become really frustrating and disappointing.
I agree with you on this one, definitely. Now, for my company, I sometimes hire people from different backgrounds, and maybe this could be a little bit personal question to you, but sometimes we see, different CVs, such as there are versions of, which are very colorful and they have the pictures, they have a lot
Mhm.
of details and good matching colors, maybe. But on the other side of this spectrum, we see that only black and white, no picture, and just raw information. So, which
Mhm.
one do you suggest?
Well, I'm going to give you an answer like I used to get in college from my marketing professor. It depends.
Mhm.
And it depends on the type of role that you're applying for. When we're working with engineers, it is very
Mhm.
normal for them to send just a raw data resume, as you
Mhm.
mentioned, black and white, just spelling out their experience,
Mhm.
their relevant software skills, and things like that. But if we're getting a resume from an architect, I do expect for it to be a nicer design, for it to have some of that design aesthetic and really speak to the projects they've worked on and include a portfolio as well. So I think you just have to know the type of role that you're applying for and what they're looking for. And now thankfully we have the internet, we have AI, you can ask ChatGPT what the client might be looking for or the company might be looking
Exactly.
for, and kind of lean in from there.
So I see that again, it depends from person to person. And also, what do you think about the maybe management level, especially people who are applying to director, manager levels? Do you see any maybe common CV mistakes, or are there any things that are blocking them from being seen?
Yeah, I think one common mistake across the board is just not checking for grammatical errors,
Mm,
misspellings. You've got to get the little things right, and you should definitely check your work. I also think not tailoring the resume to the job
mhm,
is a mistake. So making sure you're doing that, and then as I mentioned, of course, follow up after an interview, but also now, because employers receive so many resumes, it's really important to
mhm,
send a personalized email to the hiring manager. And with LinkedIn, you can pretty easily figure out who that person is and send them a message on LinkedIn or use something like Rocket Reach or Hunter.io to figure out what their work email is and send them an email and just say, hey, I just applied on your website or I just applied through LinkedIn. I'm also attaching my resume here along with my cover letter because if it's a management
mhm.
role, I think a cover letter is great to help sell yourself. And this really is the one time, people don't want to brag about themselves, but I say this is the time to brag about
Mhm.
yourself.
Exactly. Sometimes we tend to be humble, but it affects our ability to show ourselves. And I also realized something you said, and you mentioned the importance of personal touch. But as today's world going more and more digital and maybe AI based, so do you still believe the power of personal touch?
I do. I really do because it's so rare that people receive a personal email or a follow-up note afterwards. So it really can help you stand out. And people are still looking for that personal touch. They want to know you're a good fit and they want to feel good about hiring you. So if you can make them feel good about your application or the interview,
Mhm.
it's going to leave a lasting impression.
Yeah, definitely. I am on the same page with you because I value the personal touch. And once I thought about this, for my company, I thought that if somebody came or if somebody wrote that I am dying to work here, I just want to work here, I said to myself, if somebody said this, I would probably hire them. Maybe this is
Right.
emotional a little bit, but it shows the desire, it shows the willingness, it shows the personalization. And definitely you are right on that side. Now, this is only the first step. Yes, maybe they have the good resume, just like you said, they tailored and they set all the standards and everything is good. Now, interview time, interview time.
hmm
What do you, first of all, maybe suggest to people, especially in the maybe management part, because they are having more challenging interviews maybe regarding their position. So, first of all, what do you suggest to them? And then maybe some common problems and mistakes.
Yeah, you touched on this a little bit just a moment ago. I think it's really important to make sure that any job you're applying for or interviewing for is for a company that you'd really want to work for. You as an owner, you can feel the passion from the other person if they say,
Mhm,
I love your company or I love what you're doing here. And it's really genuine. So I would say start off with thoroughly researching the company and the
mhm,
projects before the interview. Also, now a lot of interviews are virtual first. And so when you
mhm,
receive the invite for the interview, research the person that you're interviewing with, look them up on LinkedIn, look them up on social media. And companies now will share videos on their social media. So you can really get a
mhm,
good feel for what the company is doing.
mhm,
Personally, with our company Career Collective, I've had candidates apply and interview, and they've said, I see what you're doing on LinkedIn. You guys have fun Fridays. Everybody looks
Mhm.
really happy. It doesn't seem forced. And it makes me feel good because I know
Mhm.
they've checked us out. They've looked at some posts we
Mhm.
have. So definitely do your homework and then try to understand the culture and the values as well. That way, as a candidate, you can tailor your responses to that. I would never say, don't be truthful or be ingenuine, but you can tailor your response based on what you think they're looking for.
Mhm.
And then I would say practice. Find someone to
Mhm.
practice those common interview questions with and prepare examples that really showcase the relevant experiences you've had. So many questions now are behavioral,
Mhm.
and they'll say, tell me about a time when. And if you haven't jotted some of these down and practiced them and really thought through them, it can be really tough to think on the spot,
Yeah.
about these questions. So practice. If you
Mhm.
don't have, a friend to practice with or a partner,
Mhm.
I think there's AI tools now where you can practice interview questions
Exactly.
and record yourself and watch it and
Mhm.
see how you did.
So I see that you think that, practice maybe not makes perfect, but maybe near, and it gives them a chance to actually get some feedback. Whether, it is AI or a person, it doesn't really matter on this part because they will get used to answering, maybe using some frameworks, maybe with connecting some examples and dots from their backgrounds. And on the other side, I want to focus on the interview itself a little bit
Mm,
because yes, sometimes we prepare, and I know that from myself. Sometimes I prepare very well, but it doesn't go the way I planned. There are those panic moments. Maybe there are those questions that you are not prepared for, and maybe some follow-up questions. So what do you think about this part? Do you think people can be, 100% ready for an interview, or is it just impossible?
I think you can be prepared, but I don't know that you can be
Mhm.
100% ready because
Mhm.
sometimes there's really bad interviewers as well. Maybe
Mhm.
they ask you an off the wall question or
Mhm.
they come across weird. They're not used to doing interviews. So I think it's hard to be 100% prepared.
Mhm. Mhm.
I also think if they ask you a question that stumps you, you can always repeat the question back. You can
Mhm.
ask follow-up questions like, is this what you're looking for in an answer?
Mhm.
Or is this what you're asking? I'm not sure I completely understand. And it's okay to even answer a question and then say, I'm not loving my answer for that.
Mhm.
Let me add this to it. I think it's just a human element to say, I try to answer this as best as possible, but something else came to mind. I'd like to add this as well.
So rather than panicking at the moment, maybe we can just tell the truth that, I didn't like my answer, and maybe can I try again, or can I give another example? Can I add this?
Yeah,
So it's not negative, is it?
I don't think so. I think, take a deep breath. They're human as
Mhm.
well. Maybe they weren't even listening.
Could be. There's
So
always this
it gives you
possibility. Yeah,
gives you an opportunity to try again.
true, definitely. And I also want to get another perspective from you because I feel like you've been on both sides of the table. You've been uh, on one side, maybe helping people to get ready for interviews, but also you are hiring yourself and maybe you are trying to attract top talent. So when we look at your side of the story, how are you, basically trying to attract top talent? So what strategies are you doing? And maybe candidates can spot these companies and maybe good companies to work. So, what do you say for them?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I coach a lot of my clients through this as well because
Mhm.
AEC is such a tight job market. So
Mhm.
all these companies are competing against one another for top tier candidates and talent. So I think really to attract top tier talent, you've got to promote that positive company culture, which we talked
Mhm.
about earlier. And also emphasize opportunities for professional development. Most people
Mhm.
now want to know They can be happy at work. It's got a good culture, and also that there's room for growth. For AEC specifically, it's great to highlight projects that show innovation and sustainability. But I think, just thinking about your employer brand and how you're showcasing that on social media. As I mentioned earlier, you can do videos now. You can have client testimonials, employee testimonials, because people are going online and they're seeing what you're doing. But also keep in mind, you don't want to make candidates jump through hoops for months and months and months, and you don't want to have a super long process. Maybe it's a 3-step interview process. That works. But when it starts to be 5, 6, 7 interviews, and you as the employer are not providing feedback or getting ghosting the candidate, that's pretty bad. And people will, leave that feedback online.
Yeah, people will talk about it. And I remember that, Jeff Bezos had a good quote on that. You make one customer unhappy. They used to tell 6 people. Now they tell 6,000. So it will, will really make it, more difficult to make the brand that you are trying to make if you do these things. So I generally realize that, especially in my audience or in Turkey, people are trying to aim for the corporate companies, and generally they are trying to find jobs in well-established places. Maybe some of them are even global. And so when you look at these companies, what main differences do you see regarding the possibilities when you compare them to maybe smaller scale companies, maybe even to startups? So some people prefer safety. I know that, because maybe they have families, children, and they don't want to risk in a startup. I get it. But are big corporate jobs always, making people happy? I wonder that.
I don't think so. Most of our clients are small to mid-sized companies. And my argument with them is that, well, first off, I think you should know your values as a candidate. Do you know if you fit in with a small or a large firm? But what I can say about small to mid-sized firms is you're really a part of the team. You wear a lot of hats. You're very instrumental in what they do, because it's not just a numbers game. Whereas with a lot of really large organizations, you're just a number. How many people know you? Are you coming into the office? Do you have FaceTime with your manager? Or are they managing a whole team that's fully remote, and you never get any FaceTime with them? So I don't always think bigger is better. I think know your values and what you're looking for, and then make sure the culture aligns with what you're desiring.
Yeah. And you mentioned something very critical, values. So, how can somebody, or what type of questions can somebody ask themselves to figure out what their values are? Yes, probably they have a vague explanation, or maybe, they have some lines, and maybe they experienced some bad things before, and they said themselves, okay, I will never do this again, or I will never work in such a place. But in order to understand this, on a more fundamental level, when you are coaching people, maybe, how do you discover their values?
Yeah, I think it's so important to really lean into this. And, there's tools online. You can research what values are, and then kind of look and see which values of yours align with those. But I think it takes getting really clear. And to do that, journaling is a great way to really think about what's important to you. Like you said, you're thinking about your experiences in the past, and maybe what went well, what didn't go so well, and why that was. So thinking about those things, and then start to think about what you really value and what's important to you in your next company.
So yes, there can be some lessons in the past, and if we dig enough, maybe we can see some patterns, maybe some, repeating cycles that we always enter and we never question, maybe. But maybe it's time to stop and think a little bit on those things. It could be. Now, we went too much into difficult parts. I realized that, because when people listen to it, maybe they cannot find their values right away. So I want to focus more on the practical and tactical parts that maybe people can apply tomorrow, maybe apply after listening to this. So, what would you suggest to someone who maybe has been job hunting, or maybe they're trying to find an alternative to their current company? So, what is waiting for them, and how can they get ready for these challenges?
Yeah, this is a good question. I think, again, getting really clear on what you want. So at your current company, what's going really well and what are you dissatisfied with? What do you want to completely, get rid of? Is it part of the culture? Is it part of your job description? Is the interaction with your boss? And then think about what you're wanting in a new position. And then I like to tell people to start showing up on LinkedIn as the subject matter expert in what they do, which I know for a lot of people is very daunting. They don't want to post on LinkedIn.
Oh.
But the more you're out there, the more connections you're going to make. So start posting maybe just twice a week. Post something related to your industry, or share a post from a colleague or someone else in the industry. That's a really easy way to get started. And then start making connections with people who are in those roles that you're interested in, that you want to work in. Maybe it's a company that you've really admired. Start connecting with those people. Or maybe they're working in the job that you want. Start connecting with those people. And you can be, again, very genuine. Just let them know you're interested in that type of role. How did they, get into that role? What's made them successful? Most people are willing to share, but I think it starts with, getting clear on what you want, and then getting visible, and then making those connections. So start networking. And then start applying, but don't just start applying in the beginning. And we call it the spray and pray method, where you're just applying to everything and praying something works out.
Whatever turns out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not a good way. And maybe it could make us, unhappy on the, global scale, because, we are just trying to find something, but it's not a good way to, lead the life, maybe, because it is after that we don't choose it. I mean, we just accept whatever is given on that scenario. And also, you mentioned being active and being visible is crucial. And I know that many people are shy. Maybe I am one of them. It's not very easy to go out there and show yourself to the world. And we are maybe afraid of rejection, or maybe even, I know some people, they have maybe 20 years of experience, but they are the expert in their field, but they are shy to tell their story. So, what kind of an advice can you give to those people who are hesitant, but already have enough?
Yeah, I would say, know that everyone else feels the same way you do. No one just loves being rejected from things or, not hearing back. So if you're going to a networking event, I would say go in with a goal to maybe make 2 connections. Like, I'm not going to leave until I talk to 2 people and, really get to know them. So set a goal for yourself. And then if it's online, same thing. Like, I'm going to post twice a week for a month. And then it just gets easier and easier to put yourself out there. But I think just know that most people feel the same way. It's really unnatural for most people. And everybody has a bit of nerves going into a networking event or an industry event, especially if you're going there alone. It can be really nerve-wracking, but look for the other person that's by themselves and walk up to them and introduce yourself.
Exactly. And, actually, I try to put myself in that position. And if somebody wrote me and asked me some questions, I would be very happy to answer, actually. I wouldn't be condescending, or I wouldn't be, judging them. Instead, I would just help them. So maybe a lot of people are thinking like this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So That's another part, and I think the questions comes to personal branding on one part. So
Yeah.
especially in a maybe close circle, we can say, for your industry, AEC, maybe you have a close circle, maybe everybody knows everybody, or uh, if you have a personal brand, can you really stand out in these smaller niche places or smaller circles? Do you think it really makes a difference in that space?
I do. I think we've heard a lot about personal branding in the last couple of
Hmm.
years. And it doesn't have to be some elaborate thing, but it goes back to knowing your
Hmm.
values and what's important to you. I do think it's helpful. So if you're showing up on LinkedIn and you're sharing things, that's people start to know you for that. And it's amazing. When I started coaching, I started sharing things on LinkedIn about coaching. And then all of a sudden, people are reaching out to be coached. So the way you show up, people believe what you say. So if you're sharing posts that support that, then they'll believe it, and you will be known as that person.
Hmm.
So just lean into that.
Yeah, you are inspirational, I must say that. And I
Oh,
think
thank
when
you.
people are listening to this, they will feel the same. And, because I thought that when we say, for example, you have to post something or you have to be visible, maybe they might imagine like, appealing to crowds or, maybe having a target of maybe 100,000 followers, etc. But maybe the question is not that. Maybe the question is just being visible in your space, in your industry,
Mhm.
so that key people know you, right?
I totally
Maybe.
agree. You know, our
Hmm.
AEC industry is small in that
Hmm.
everyone knows everyone for the most part, which is why you never want to burn a bridge and just quit a job and jump to another because then you do get a reputation. But I think you're an influencer, even if you're showing up on LinkedIn or social media
Hmm.
of any sort, and you've are influenced 10 people. You know,
Hmm.
you're still an influencer. You're making a
Yeah,
difference for those 10 people. It doesn't always have
exactly.
to be millions of followers.
Hmm. Yeah, because we try to set we try to set expectations, but generally those expectations are not realistic. And so, and knowing that, maybe influencing 10 people is enough for today, maybe for this month, maybe it will
Hmm.
give these people a chance to break their chains and maybe go out there. It could be nice
Exactly.
on that
Yeah.
side. Now, um, I want to get a hold on, especially, global working, and I assume that you are in a multicultural environment, and maybe there are some people coming and some people are going, and also different backgrounds, different, perspectives as well. So, maybe a person coming from Europe, maybe a person coming from Middle East or Turkey. So, what practical tips can you give to these people, in order to better integrate or maybe have the courage to just
Mm.
apply and try? What can you say to
Yeah,
them?
definitely. For our industry specifically,
Hmm.
we see a lot of candidates who are on an H-1B visa. So I think you first have to know which companies are open to sponsoring someone. And typically it is the larger companies because they've done it before. They understand the process. They don't mind paying for the visa transfer. So they're knowledgeable in how that works. The other thing to keep in mind is how do your skills transfer, say, from Turkey to, somewhere in the United States, New York City? Maybe the codes are a little bit different.
Hmm.
Maybe you have an engineering license in Turkey,
Hmm.
but you're going to need to get one in New York. So I think doing your homework to figure out what is needed. And then a lot of times your degree is going to be reviewed. So the degree you got in your country, how does it, is it the equivalent of a degree here in the States? And we see the same thing from Canada. So it could be anywhere. Europe. I talked to an architect and she was living in Paris and had lived somewhere else. I was like, this is really cool. You're gaining all of this experience. So I think, again, the internet is amazing in that now
Mhm.
you and I can talk on video, being
Yeah,
in different
amazing.
countries and different time zones.
Mhm.
So just, do your homework and your research ahead of time.
Yeah, when there is will, there is way. So
Yes,
people will
exactly.
find it. And but I see that, some people are pessimistic on these issues sometimes. They maybe fear of change, or maybe fear of rejection, or maybe they think that, I will spend a lot of effort, time, money, resources, and then I will not be able to migrate or go or find the
Hmm.
job. So, in your professional career, have you ever seen like over the edge examples, like, extreme examples, people maybe coming from difficult backgrounds, or maybe everybody says you don't have a chance at this company. So, have you ever seen these extreme examples?
I have, and I've seen
Mhm.
people make a way for themselves and be able to
Mhm.
move from another country and get a job here and vice versa.
Mhm.
I think it comes down to exactly what you were just talking about and having the right mindset. And I heard on a podcast recently, she said, it's not a problem of finding a job, it's a personality problem, meaning, you've got all these problems in your life, and these are the same problems that are keeping you from finding a new position. Are you pessimistic? Are you
Mhm.
not expecting things to work out? Because if you expect them not to, they're probably not going
Not
to
gonna
work out.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Instead, if
Mhm.
you say 1 hour each morning, I'm going to make connections with
Mhm.
people in this country who do this job, and I'm going to, get the
Mhm.
certifications that I need.
Mhm.
And then I hope to find a position, in 6 months. And you make
Mhm.
that your goal and you work towards it. Well, then of course you've got a much higher likelihood of
Mhm.
finding something.
Yeah, and I conclude from what you said that, it is important to take this seriously and commit yourself.
Yeah,
It's not
for
going to
sure.
happen clicking on easy apply on LinkedIn, and
Exactly.
probably, you're not going to find that. Yeah, definitely. Well, it's been lovely to talk to you. And, personally, I learned a lot of things, and also my audience and people who are listening to will learn and get your perspective, hopefully, a little bit. And before we, wrap up, if you could give, one piece of advice to candidates, and one practical advice, and, it could be related to networking, finding jobs, or maybe showing themselves. So, what would be your closing remark regarding this lovely conversation?
Yeah, it's so hard to think of one thing, but I think
Hmm.
everything starts with mindset. If you
Hmm.
believe you can, you will. And if you believe you can't, you won't. So read books,
Hmm.
listen to podcasts, surround yourself with people who believe in you, and just have all these positive things around you so you can make a positive step forward.
Hmm. Definitely. And I live by this advice myself, try to live, because whatever you believe is making up you, and it is like making a reality, actually. Not you
It's
as a
so
person,
true.
but the a reality, how you see it. It's your filter,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, you create your own reality.
Exactly. So it was very nice and lovely to see you on this episode. And thank you for coming. And I will, put your information on this podcast so that maybe, people want to reach out to you.
Umarım keyifli bir bölüm olmuştur. Ben konuşurken çok fazla şey öğrendim. Aynı zamanda çok da keyifli bir sohbet gerçekleştirdim. Şimdi ise biraz aslında kısaca özetlemek istiyorum. O taraftan bizim alacağımız action item'lar, kendimize çıkaracağımız dersler neler? Biraz bunlara odaklanalım istiyorum. Şimdi ilk olarak aslında biraz CV'lerden başladık. İyi bir CV nasıldır? Benim böyle kişisel olarak merak ettiğim bir soru da vardı. Onu da sordum. Özellikle böyle renkli, resimli CV'ler her zaman yanlış mıdır? Burada cevabımız hayır oldu aslında. Yani aslında başvurduğumuz pozisyona göre biz bazen klasik, çok fazla veri içeren bir CV de gönderebiliriz. Eğer ki bir tasarım, pazarlama gibi bir pozisyona başvuruyorsak pekala CV'miz orada renkli ve karakterimizi gösteren bir CV de olabilir. Birincisi bu noktayı netleştirmiş olduk. Devamında ise bence yine çok kritik bir şey söyledi. Ben mülakat kursumu hazırlarken de veya kişilere mülakat programları hazırlarken de her zaman bu noktaya vurgu yaparım. Bunlar da soft skills. Yani daha böyle iletişimsel beceriler. Bryce aslında çok böyle teknik bir alanda çalışıyor diyebiliriz. Çünkü doğru ve yanlış çok net belli açıkçası. Mühendislik ve inşaat. Fakat burada kişileri öne çıkaran şeylerden birisi aslında iletişim becerileri ve CV'ye de bu iletişim becerilerini bizim oldukça dahil etmemiz gerekiyor. Fakat hani burada da böyle üstün körü tavsiyeler verip geçmek istemiyorum. Bunlar için belki ayrı bir video yaparım. Eğer talebiniz olursa yorumlarda belirtebilirsiniz. Ama CV'miz her zaman çok teknik olmak zorunda değil. Özellikle bizi öne çıkarabilecek iletişimsel becerilerimiz varsa bunları da ekleyebiliriz. Ve kesinlikle olabildiğince tüm gramer hatalarını, özellikle İngilizce bir seviye hazırlıyorsanız kontrol ettirmenizde fayda var. Mülakat kısmına geçtiğimizde ise zaten şunu görüyoruz. Rastgele başvurular yapmayacağız. Yani LinkedIn kolay başvuru kısmından yüzlerce şirkete başvurup bizi kabul edene razı gelmek zaten şu an istediğimiz bir şey değil. Veya kariyer koçlarının odaklandığı bir strateji değil aslında. Burada bizim yapacağımız şey gerçekten ilk olarak biraz bir değerlerimizi keşfetmek. Yani bizim için ne önemli? İş hayat dengesi mi önemli? Profesyonel gelişim mi önemli? Maaş mı önemli? Bunları bulmak ve gerçekten başvuracağımız yerleri buna göre seçmek aslında mülakatımızı kolaylaştıracak diyebilirim. Mülakata gitmeden önce de yapabileceğimiz en güzel şeylerden birisi aslında o kişileri biraz araştırmak, biraz bakmak, şirketi tanımak. Şimdi burada şu da oluyor aslında. Şirketi tanımak diyoruz ama bence bunun da seviyeleri var. Yani şirketin hakkımızda sayfasına bakmak evet bir seviye. Fakat benim verdiğim tavsiyelerden birisi haberlere bakmak. Şirket hakkında haber var mı? Eğer ki son zamanlarda gerçekleştirdikleri bir proje, başarılı yaptıkları bir iş varsa bu haberi mülakatta gündeme getirmek aslında zaten bizim oradaki isteğimizi gösterecek. Benim Bryce'a verdiğim bir örnek vardı orada. Gerçekten hani birisi gelse dese ki ben sizin şirketinize bayıldım. Reta'da çalışmak istiyorum. Çok olumlu başlayacağını söyleyebilirim o sürecin. Çünkü gerçekten oradaki o istek belki bazı becerileri geçecek. Belki de kişinin motivasyonu aynı zamanda işe alım uzmanına da yansıyacak ve güzel bir izlenim bırakacaktır. Bir diğer tarafta aslında baktığımız kısımlardan birisi özellikle mülakat içindeki sorular. Bir soru kalıbından bahsetti. Behavioral questions, yani daha böyle davranışsal, yetenek bazlı sorular. Bunlar da tell me about a time when. Yani şunun olduğu bir zamanı anlatır mısın? Bu soruları ben de çok çalıştırmayı seviyorum. Çünkü gerçekten hikaye anlatmamız gereken yerler. Ve burada ben her zaman şeyi veririm. STAR metodunu veririm. Situation, task, action, result. Artık beni dinleyen kişiler bunu ezberlemiştir. Neredeyse her videomda mülakatla ilgili bir şey olduğunda STAR'dan bahsediyorum çünkü. Tell me about a time when tipindeki sorular geldiği anda aslında bizden bir hikaye anlatmamızı istiyorlar. Ve yine her zaman anlatacağımız hikayeler birazcık şirketin değerleriyle, birazcık beklentileriyle uyumlu olmalı. Ve yine her zaman follow-up questions, yani devamında gelebilecek detay sorularına hazırlıklı olmalıyız. Bir taraftan beni mutlu da etti aslında. Çoğunlukla benim de düşündüğüm ve uyguladığım stratejileri Bryce'tan duymak aslında doğru bir şey yaptığımızı da göstermiş oldu bu tarafta. Üçüncü ve en son bahsettiği şey bence biraz herkesin aslında eksik kaldığı bir nokta. Personal branding, yani kişisel bir marka oluşturma. Bu belki hani son 2 yıldır benim çok duyduğum bir şey. Özellikle böyle Amerikalı içerik üreticileri, belki Avrupalı içerik üreticileri. Herkes personal brand, kişisel marka oluşturmaktan bahsediyor. Fakat bunun zor olduğu noktalar da var, kabul ediyorum. Yani LinkedIn'de paylaşım yapmak, belki o tarafta kendimizi biraz daha ön plana koymak böyle herkesin de koşarak yapmak isteyeceği bir şey değil açıkçası. Burada ama şöyle hedefler koyabileceğimizden bahsetti. Örneğin bir ay boyunca haftada 2 kere LinkedIn'de paylaşım yapacağım. Ve buradaki biz paylaşımı neden yapıyoruz? aslında yüzlerce, binlerce kişiye erişmek için değil. Zaten çalıştığınız alan muhtemelen küçük bir alan. Yani bu ne demek? İşte atıyorum otomotiv sektöründeki müdürler. Zaten kaç kişi var? Veya işte FMCG sektöründeki işe alım uzmanları. Hani böyle daha küçük olan alanlarda bizim aslında kendimizi birazcık göstermemiz, güzel bir LinkedIn profili oluşturmamız ve bazı düşüncelerimizi paylaşıyor olmamız bize güzel bir artı getirecek. Yani en zor ama en iyi etki verecek şeylerden birisi de bence buydu. O yüzden siz de kendinize bir hedef koyabilirsiniz. Haftada bir kez LinkedIn'de işimle, alanımla alakalı bir şey paylaşacağım. Ve bunu yaptıkça bu daha da kolaylaşmaya devam edecek. En zoru ilki olacak. İkinci en zoru ikincisi olacak. Ama 50. paylaşımı yaptığınızda artık gitgide daha kolay bir hale gelecek diyebilirim. Genel hatlarıyla konuşmamız bu şekildeydi. Biraz hızlı özetledim. Üzerine belki biraz düşünmemiz gerekebilir. Belki biraz strateji yapmamız gerekebilir. Ama mülakatlar kısımlarında benim zaten daha detaylı videolarım da mevcut. Ara ara böyle güzel misafirler getiriyor olacağım. Umarım beğenirsiniz. Format hakkında ne düşünüyorsunuz? Yorumlarınızı almayı çok isterim. Abone olmayı ve takip etmeyi de unutmayın. Görüşmek dileğiyle. Kendinize çok iyi bakın.